Hi, welcome to the Trade Game channel. This is Daniel. I'm here today to talk to you about grid trading and grid trading cryptocurrency and to show you an example of how this works. So I'm going to try to get straight to the point. Now it's January 25th, 2025. Welcome. Um, Please like and subscribe, leave a comment if you like the video or if you don't like the video, whatever. Always good to have feedback on how we can improve. So I'm trying to just do a quick demonstration here, and I'll show you an example of an actual grid bot. But I'm trying to explain how exactly grid bots work. So in this example, we have a grid and going from $0 up to $100. Right? We have 10 green lines, and each one of these green lines is a grid line for our strategy. In this example, there are 10 green grid lines, which are 10 buy orders. This is because we're doing a grid strategy in which we are going long. We are expecting the price to go up of this asset. And so all of the orders being placed are going to be long orders, with the red lines being sell orders, which are only sell orders insofar as that they are closing the buy orders, the long contracts that we started on the green lines. So the way that grid trading works, the way it generates some return on investment, even if the asset doesn't necessarily rise in value just by action of trading back and forth, is that say you have a price wave that kind of comes down. We're going to like that, and like this, and maybe go up here, and then here. Okay, so price tends to oscillate back and forth in the market, right? So say the price action starts here, and you have this strategy set up. The way this works, and this is you can automate this process. As the price passes down through the green line, we will buy at that price. And as it continues to go down, we will continue to buy every time as it goes down. I get to here. Right. And then as the price swings back up, what will have happened is, as the bot is placing its buy orders, say, no, goodness, say for example here, place the buy order here. Okay. As it placed this buy order right here, it simultaneously placed a sell order here. Or you can kind of think of it this way. And so as the price retraces and goes back up, the asset that bought, when it gets back up here, it will sell at a slightly higher price. Although it's a little more complicated than that, because really what's actually happening here, when the buy order is placed here, it's setting kind of you could say a trigger order, with a trigger here to sell here. So we would buy in, and then as we get up here, in order to short in the opposite direction of our buy order, will be placed a limit order, that is to say, to make a certain amount of profit, right? And so what that means is that we won't actually close this long, this little small long, which is 1/10 of our total margin right here. But you place an order which would close this long. It's the equivalent of placing a stop loss order above your entry price when you're day trading. Specifically for just this one little position. But if the price continues to go up after this, then that order will never be triggered, and you will just have a long position here that's in profit, that the bot is holding, that the portfolio or strategy is holding, whatever term you want to use for it. Bot is often the term used for these. So in order for a buy and sell to occur using this sort of thing, you would have, say, like a situation here where the bot will have entered along here. It will have gone up. When it crossed this red area, it will have placed, or possibly when it crosses the next green line, it will have set a sell order right here. Price goes up, comes back down, and then it hits this sell order, which corresponds to this slightly lower green line. And then you take a little profit, right? You take a little profit as you go down. If it gets to this green line, it'll reopen that long, and then it'll keep going. So in doing this repeatedly, you could do the same thing here and here. I won't bore you by drawing a whole bunch of dots for it, but you can produce profit automatically from the up and down oscillation of the market. Where's my brush? Yes. And so by doing this and doing it over and over again, even if the price goes down like this, your position will be in a loss. You'll still have, like, for example, this long position right here would still be in force and in loss at this point. And so your sort of average of all of these green long positions will still be kind of around here, will be your average. And that sum total will be the equivalent of a long position at a loss. It's just a long position in which you bought in over the entire stretch of the grid, which has been touched by the price here. So as a result of this is a good thing. Even though this was not a good trade, or the trade is not going well, you're less likely to get to hit a liquidation level, or you're going to do better. You're going to perform better in this losing trade than you would in a losing trade if you were just doing a regular day trade, just opening one long position here and then hitting like a stop loss here. And the reason is for a couple of reasons. For one thing, some of the grid lines weren't touched, and so some of your margin never got put into the trade. So that reduces the overall amount of your USDT or your whatever your quote currency is that's being put at risk when you first start the bot. And so, and even though the price action went from up here to down here, it is as if you bought in consistently throughout that entire downwards motion, as opposed to just buying in entirely up here at the top. And so your actual entry point for your contracts, your averaged contracts, would be kind of more in the middle. It would be kind of like around $50. And so even with this trade not going well, your entry point is automatically going to be better than it would be if you just started it along up here. But then if the price muddles around yes, and then rallies, running out of space. That's terrible. Okay, let's just sort of do yeah, something like that. Rallies, yay, setting higher highs. You will have ended up in profit up here because you'll be above where you started. But also, you will have ended up you will have bought in. You'll end up with longs here, 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 throughout here. So you will end up in a long position with not all of the money that you put in to begin with. This $10 or whatever, if you put $100 in, for example, would still be unused margin, but 90% of the margin that you put in to the bot would be in a long position. So that's pretty good utilization, and the average of your positions would be kind of right in here, which is lower than where you started at. So you would have averaged in at a better price and made more money than if you had just opened a long right here, and then closed up here. So this is useful from a day trading perspective because you just sort of get better returns depending on how you do it, versus doing a regular position. But also, if the position doesn't go well, you lose less. And so you sort of just tend to outperform doing this way. So anyway, hopefully that kind of gives you some general idea of how this works. You can also short with these bots, in which case the whole thing would be reversed. The red lines would be sell orders, short orders, and then as you move down, it would be placing buy orders on the green lines. And then if the price moves up, the buy orders will be put in force. So that's the general fundamental principle of how grid trading works, specifically grid trading long. So for an example here, I have an actual grid bot that have had going here for about a month. This is a bot that I'm running on Solana, which is sort of the third biggest, roughly, arguably, perhaps, cryptocurrency out there, which set a couple of all-time highs recently here, right here, and then also set a new one right here, which is wonderful for us, for me. This is a bot that I was trading with 5 times leverage, and so the amount of money that I put into this bot, the margin that I put down, was to open these contracts, and in doing so, I'm able to trade with, say, purchase, in this case, because I'm buying, going long, 5 times more than that. Is what I'm putting into this bot. But the trouble with doing this is that the bot will have a liquidation value, because if these contracts go fall too far into loss, then eventually the exchange will have to liquidate them. So that's what this red area is that I've marked out here. Is the area at the bottom of this red area is where this bot will get liquidated if the price goes down that far. With 5 times leverage. One of the neat things about these bots is that as they trade and accumulate profit, that profit will be used automatically to secure the bot against liquidation. So the longer this bot runs inside its grid, the further down this red zone, this liquidation sort of danger area, extends, and it gets harder and harder for the bot to actually be reach liquidation, just because you've got enough money in there to hang on to it, even if the price goes down. So this is a bot that I've had running again for about a month. The profit level in between these lines is these lines are marked out here. You can see they're all evenly spaced. Is between 0.82 and 1.18%, and that's kind of important because having a target profit for these grids of around 1% or 2%, or like 0.5% to 1.5%, or somewhere kind of in that sort of general around 1%, maybe 2% range. At least so far in what back testing I've done, and research that I've done, seems to kind of be a good range to have these bots in, where they're trading pretty frequently, but it's not wasting you a whole lot of money on trading fees, and other things. So you can set these bots, and we can kind of talk about this, to have much lower percent profits than this, and it's still totally fine. And they'll still perform well. They just won't be quite as efficient. But there are some situations where if you feel like you really need to eke out margin right off the bat, it may be worthwhile to sacrifice just uh, a bit of efficiency. Um, Say maybe be like at 80% efficiency or 90% efficiency compared to where it would be with slightly wider grids. But in exchange, the bot produces more revenue really quickly right at the beginning to kind of help push that liquidation value away. It, I don't know. It's all sort of arguable, but you also could kind of say, well, if you um, there's no need to set the grid that wide if you're doing it that way, because you're not going to hold the bot that long anyhow. But yeah, anyway. So this is a 5 times bot. The default for my exchange is 10 times, so this is kind of a conservative amount of leverage. But the nice thing about starting or using a 5 times leverage bot or a 3 times leverage bot is that is sort of what you would call swing trading leverage. So the liquidation values, just right off the bat, are going to be very squishy with 3 times or 5 times grid bot trading. You're not going to have to worry too much about your bots getting liquidated accidentally, because the liquidation values are going to be pretty far away from where the current price is typically. Um, so it's relatively safe. Um, but it is it's absolutely worth using, I think, because the alternative to doing a 3 or 5 times spot would be to do this in spot, which I also do and would suggest you do as well, in terms of automating your spot trading and just sort of getting the best value you can there. But that's another video for another day. But by doing this with leverage, even with 3 times leverage, the lowest and safest, you're still trading with 3 times the amount of money you would be able to do in spot, and you're just gonna see better returns overall doing that. Are you gonna see better returns from the grid trading, um, because of the leverage, and you're gonna see, provided you're correct about the direction, that the currency is going, provided Solana does continue to do well over the next longer period of time. Um, Having a higher leverage long position, if this gets above its grid, is just better for me in the longer run. Um, so even with relatively low levels of leverage like this, it's still, in my opinion, considerably better to do it this way than do it with spot trading. That being said, spot trading is awesome. It's great. It's safe. You can set it up and you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to think about it. You can just sort of set it and forget it, which is great. So, no, there's no, by no means discouraging anybody from spot trading with grid bots because those can do quite well. And also, you don't really have to worry about them getting liquidated, so you don't have to give them nearly as much attention, which can be quite nice as well. So in this case, this bot got started last month and grid traded a little bit, but I was a little concerned about this one because the price took a dip, did not recover as I'd hoped that it would, and continued to go up and challenge its all-time high. What had been its all-time high here. Instead, it continued to consolidate to the downside, and there's a little concern that Solana might sort of underperform here. But fortunately, it looks like it did. It found support right around here. We had a down turn, got a lot of good buying pressure here. Printed a really nice bullish candle, and had a really good in January. Big move to the upside. We've had some very big new meme coins being released on the Solana network, and they've been doing crazy things in their little sort of area of the market that really quick trending sort of trade thing where people try to like follow celebrities on Twitter and things. It's very interesting. Not really my cup of tea, but um, so we had a wonderful pump up from here, and um, came back up in here and actually went right up to I said this grid yeah, up to $300. Yeah, kind of a round figure up above the all-time high. And it got up to like 296 or something. Yeah, 296. So that's lovely. You want these bots to explore the entire grid as much as possible when you're trading this way, and so that's wonderful. You also want this is useful because you want your in terms of getting a good return over time, you want your overall total investment to be fairly concentrated around where the current price action is. If you want to see sort of bigger returns from the arbitrage grid trading action here, which is what we're talking about ultimately. Um, but it is also, of course, important to manage your expectations for any investment or trading that you do. So our total stats right now for this bot are looking much better than they kind of were here, where it did only traded a little bit. Um, the return on investment so far for this bot is 65%. So in the last month, I've got a 60% return, 65, almost 64% return, I should say, which is rather good, I would think. Um, and that's from the grid trading. That's just the amount of margin that has been added to the bot from um, grid trading. The total return currently is about 50%, though. If I were to close the bot at this point, indicated by the line, which is today, I would make about a 50% profit. And the reason that's lower than the grid profit is that all of the longs that this thing has started, which at this point it is deployed all of its longs except for a couple up here. evidently it's at a point where the average of those is in loss. So the currently held entry price of the bot is apparently somewhere above the current price action. So its trade that it's holding uh, for the bot is in slight loss, and so that's pulling down our total ROI to be below what the grid ROI is. So we're still in so basically the position, quote unquote, that the bot has is in loss actually right now. But because of all of this 64% profit that we made um, from trading this action, we're actually 50% in profit, even though the position the bot is holding is in loss. Um, and this is the benefit to doing this. So I did not have to try and the nice thing for me, and this is a good example of why we use these bots, is that for me, trying to go into a long here, trying to figure out where the bottom might be for this downward correction that had started after Solana hit an all-time high here. If I had gone into a long here, this would have been a successful trade. Thing is, I don't think I was aware that this happened. I don't necessarily look at these every single day. Um, so there's a pretty strong chance that I wouldn't have caught this peak. I would have noticed it the day after or something. But so the point is that my long would have been successful, but it would have been from somewhere here up to here. But it would not have been at this level of leverage, um, probably a 64% return on investment or a 50%. Wouldn't be a bad trade necessarily. Um, this time in loss would have been troublesome. If I had set my stop loss, I probably would have used my stop loss right here. So I don't think I would have gotten stop lossed out. Um, but some people would have been. Some people would have been taken out um, if they entered a long trade here because they might set a stop loss like down here. And they would have stop lossed out, although wouldn't have lost a tremendous amount. If you were to set a more generous stop loss and go in here, then you would be fine. Um, but the point is that what you sort of end up doing when you capture these movements from these trades is that you don't quite get like the perfect from the lowest point up to the highest point return from the trade. What you get is sort of the average. Um, so effectively, I kind of got as if I had long traded from here to here, um, except that I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to try and catch anything anywhere, and the yeah. So this sort of automates the process of trading, and it may not it won't necessarily allow you to catch these peaks. Although, mind you, had I been looking at this and decided to close out at this peak, I could have. Um, uh, and it would not have been a terrible decision on my part to do that, but I didn't. Instead, I kept the bot open, and I could have closed at one of these highs too. But instead, keeping the bot open, I've secured a portion, a significant portion, of the total um, price action here just from the grid trading alone, not just from the position. And so if Solana does come back up and set a new all-time high if something else happens that's in Solana's favor, um, then I'll just end up with another successful long position. But what this kind of sets up for me now is that even as this trends down, it's going to continue trading and producing grid return on investment. Um, and so the liquidation value should get extended really, really far down. And so there's kind of a certain point where the total profit is noticeably more than the bot is really trading with. And then you can kind of just set like a stop loss level like right down here at the bottom of the grid, and then just forget about the bot and just kind of go, well, it's just going to run as long as it's going to run. And if it gets down to the bottom of the grid, then it'll close and it'll take whatever profit it has when it gets down there. If it goes sideways, it'll keep making more money. And if it goes up, it'll just go into profit and we'll figure it out later. Um, which is a pretty ideal situation to be in general when you're in the market. So, for us, it's not terribly likely with this bot that it's going to get down to its liquidation level realistically at any point now. And so for me, um, some people, you could just set this at right at the bottom of the grid. I might set it a tiny bit lower, um, just in case it kind of goes down low and then goes up. But I don't know. Um, it's all sort of relative. Um, and of course, you can always set stop losses higher up in the grid too, as well, if you just want to kind of secure a decent position and not have the bucket net loss if you don't think so. But I would think I would at least set a stop loss no higher than the bottom of the grid, though, because it's kind of, to me, it seems sort of silly to not give the market a chance to range all the way down and be actively trading it um, until you really don't have much of a choice anymore. Um, so I would probably set a stop loss at like $200, something like that, some sort of psychologically significant level. Um, Something like that. Or, which is to say, what I might do is, gosh, I don't know. The point is, you set stop losses as you wish. So this makes this a really good investment opportunity for me, um, just because I can kind of hold this for as long as I need to. I can set limits on it so that it will, at the very least, make me a little bit of money, um, but also could easily just continue to range for some time and continue to make me this, if I can get 65% per month, that's really a rather good return um, for an investment. Um, and so this would be a success, really. Um, but they're not always going to go this well. Um, and some of them could go better. This was in kind of a concerning spot for a little while, but it did turn around. I'm really happy about that. So, yeah, okay. So anyway, here's an example of a bot that so far has been successfully grid trading long. I hope this explanation helps you to understand how grid trading works and how these things go. Um, this is the Trade Game channel. I'm Daniel. It's January 25th, and we've been talking about grid trading, how grid trading works, and I'm giving you an example of a bot that I have on Solana that is developing in an interesting way. As an example, to kind of help you visually see what we are doing, trading this up and down. Although the of course, really to see where we're doing this buying and selling, you kind of can go to a smaller time frame. You can sort of see how we're kind of capturing profit, capturing return on investment from some of these wicks up and down here fairly effectively with this around about 1% grid. If you look at it on the 1 hour chart, you can kind of see how this just fundamentally is a kind of a good sort of general distribution of the grids if you kind of like map it all out and visualize it and look at it. So yeah, again, this is Trade Game, Daniel. Thank you for watching and listening. Please like and subscribe. It really does help do that. Leave a comment below. God be with you. Be good to one another, and I guess I'll talk to you later.